Hello everyone, we will present about Corning Company. Our group members are Cassia, Jack, Minjun, Li Chujian, Juibi, and me, Li Subin. And next, before introduce Corning Company, I will explain table of the contents. First is introduction of Corning Company and the history about Corning. The second is Corning's problem, and the third is solution to the problem. And next, Cassia will introduce Corning.
So, hi everyone, my name is Cassia, and today I will talk about introduction of Corning Company. So, first of all, why we choose a Corning Company? Because Corning is a world leader in specialty glass and ceramics. It was founded in 1851. The headquarters is Corning, New York. So today our presentation's keywords is innovation and continual transformation. So now my friend will talk about history, the basic history of Corning Company.
Now I'm talking about the brief history of Corning Incorporated. The core engine that differentiates Corning Incorporated from other companies was its culture of science, invention, and technology. Not to mention that Corning Incorporated was in charge of producing light bulbs from Thomas Edison's company in the 1870s. Through its leading technology in glassmaking, Emery Hilton, the founder of Corning Incorporated, kept pursuing the policy of innovation in other sectors of technology. The light bulbs and glasses took the majority of its sales during the late 1800s. Corning could have sustained its company without having to invest in other areas, but it set up a specialized research lab in 1908 and invented Nunex, which was a revolutionary type of thermal shock resistant glass. This invention led to Pyrex, the patent heat resistant glass baking dishes. Corning did not stop invest revenue into R&D until it finally met its fall in 2001, followed by the Asian financial crisis. Before then, Corning has been on the up and as shown in the timeline above, making thousands of inventions and earning profits from them. Although Roger Ackerman, who joined Corning in 1962, became CEO in 1992, turning Corning into a world-leading supplier of optical fiber and other necessary technology parts. It could not prevent the collapse of Corning's stock falling two-thirds from its original value. Ironically, Ackerman followed Corning's tradition of innovation, pouring much sums of money into R&D, which backfired in 2001. This was when Corning Incorporated needed a different strategy to recover from its loss. Corning's main innovation engine, General Security Council, was organized when Corning started to suffer from a huge loss in 2001. Corning soon replaced the CEO position with Ackerman to Jamie Hilton in 2002. However, Hilton did not give up Corning's culture of innovation and went straight to Sullivan Park, the hubs of innovation facility of Corning, right after his appointment to remind the scientists that Corning will still embrace the core of its identity of relying the R&D community to lead the company back to prosperity. By 2008, Corning was a complex company that based its roots in the glass technology that delved into different markets. This means that Corning operates its business in diverse but similar areas. On the other hand, each of Corning's business segments were built on the same principle, in which were to implement an element that result in a complex system, defend it with intellectual property, and reinforce the manufacturing procedure through incorporating its high technology. Next, I will talk about the 4 business segments of Corning Incorporate. As depicted in the figure above, Corning Incorporate maintains 4 business segments. The display technology sector. This is headquartered in Tokyo Research Glass Substrates for Liquid Crystal Display. This business sector comprised over 41% of the company's revenue and 87% of net income in 2007. It manufactured Corning's overflow glass that was a necessary part for computer screens manufacturers. Telecommunication sector invented a bendable fiber for phone use. This fiber supplies the telecommunication market as it allows the installation of fiber optics in apartment buildings. This environmental technologies segment gained reputation in the automobile industry through its ceramic substrate, filter of automobile and diesel emission control system. The demands of Corning's environmental technology grew when stricter regulation on the emission of gasoline and diesel engine was imposed. The last segment was life science. Introduced the world's first high throughput label-free drug screening system. The system had a unique detection device that was attached to a photonic optical reader. And last but not least, the Corning's organization structure. Corning Incorporated adopted the hierarchical structure in order to efficiently operate the company. This structure appointed multiple general managers in business sectors. They were in charge of new products development, manufacturing, sales, and marketing. Once they were done with research, GMs report to the Chief Operations Officer. Once the COO discovered that the research has large potential, then the reports go to the Chief Technology Officer. The unique factor about Corning's organization structure was that its long-term project was organized at Sullivan Park, the company's R&D facility. Sullivan Park was the place where the researchers and commercial and business technology managers gathered and worked together. Although the business segment differed in the company, all those segments had a common of being closely related with glass. This common feature allowed exchange of beneficial knowledge and talent among the business segment and research group. Also, Corning, next slide.
OK，老师，
还没，
继续啊，可以看的吗
Next.
？OK，
Also, Corning Incorporated managed several committees that perform different functions. The highest level of committee was the management committee, operated with chief executive manager and other top-level managers. This committee essentially ran and chose the strategic plan of the company. Then there was the operating committee that oversaw the annual operating plan and made sure if the plan fit the company's 5-year plan. The plan of innovation was carried out in the Corporate Technology Council and the Growth and Strategy Council. Now I will hand the mic to Jack, and he will talk about the problem analysis.
Okay, so now let's talk about the problems Corning Corporation has faced during its history. So we assume there are 3 periods Corning Corporation had to deal with. So ever since Corning Corporation was founded in 1851, they were majorly focused on investments, and you can say those were huge success given the history. Every investment they were making was leading to profit, another profit, and market value share of Corning at that time was skyrocketing. But up until 2001, when the Asian financial crisis happened, Corning had to deal with its first problem. We will talk about that later. And this, which essentially led to second period of the problem when they had to implement the GSC body management system, which was supposed to focus on investments and bring Corning back into the game. Corning's policy of innovation worked really well without having to suffer a huge loss up until 2001. For example, Corning developed the ribbon machine and the centerpiece of a process to manufacture tons of light bulbs. And by 1945, Corning was producing 37,000 different items made from 450 different glasses. 50 different glasses. When Corning found its success and prominent future in the glass market, it didn't stop exploring other fields of business. And as I said before, they were always exploring for new business segments. However, Corning's exploration into new business has always risk of, failing. During Corning's history, every CEO was concerned about this risk of exploring new business segments when they already had like so many business segments. And for instance, in 1983, when Jamie Houghton became the CEO, mentioned that he was very worried about if he has to continually pursue the traditional culture of science, invention, and technology, or abandon the tradition of being less attached to innovation. I would say this is because Corning was already considered to have a runaway success with so many business segments, and they were not sure if exploring new business segments was necessary for the company, and it has so many risks. So the company's tradition of innovation finally backfired at the end of 2001, as I said before. So there's like a big Asian financial crisis happened in 2001. 2001, and which meant that so at that time Corning's biggest business was the fiber plunge, and that the price of the fiber plunged and the stock price of Corning collapsed in 2001 because of Asian financial crisis. And on top of that, in 2002, there was like a big worldwide telecommunications crash, destroyed Corning's revenues from $6.3 billion to $3.1 billion, which was like the worst showing of the company throughout its history. Which meant that the company's stock price from 2000 and 2002, the stock price fell from $100 to $1.5. And also there was like huge unemployment happened in Corning, and essentially 12,000 employees got fired due to the failed risk management system. And the last period of the problem was marked with the advent of the Growth and Strategy Council, which was supposed to bring Corning back into the game. As Jamie Houghton, who was CEO at that time, said that the company recovered from the loss and started to regain its old glory after all of that problems. However, when they were trying to recreate the GSC management system, they were having so many small problems. For example, one of the managers in Corning pointed out that in every Corning's meeting, there were like 18 to 20 people which was not as effective as like 5 people having a meeting. So it's like there were like 15 people who was not engaging in the meeting in every Corning's meeting. Also, Corning had to face an unexpected problem behind its capacity. For instance, Volkswagen urgently requested Corning to produce diesel filters in 2005, although it was still in the experimental stage. This caused Corning to consider whether it should pour more money into the filter business or continue in keeping balance with its investments. Now that we are clear about the 2 periods of the problem, let's talk about the details. I'm going to talk about basically 4 problems Corning had to deal with. And of course, as you know, Corning was known as making investments in so many business segments. And Corning was a major success when it's founded, but now it's late 2000, around 2010, they had so many competitors who were trying to cut Corning out of their market. And also, during that time, Corning's display screen sales was the only major business that was essentially making the 72% of the Corning's total profit. So you can imagine if that display screen sales fail, there will be big trouble for Corning, and that's what happened in 2015. In 2015, sales of display fell by 20%, which was the worst sales the company saw in 5 years from 2010 to 2015. And on top of that, Corning spent $769 million on investments and research and development, which was about 8.4% of its revenue. But CEO of Corning at that time pointed out that when display screen sales fell in the previous year, they tend to increase in the next year, and that's what they are hoped for in 2016. In addition, considering GSC will remain as an efficient body system was another question for GSC CEO. For example, GSC's GSC management system is supposed to focused on advising, providing support, making quick decisions, and balancing the company. So now that they are trying to recreate the GSC management system, it's going to be more difficult to put in action because of the new employees. You can imagine replacing old employees with new employees is kind of risky because new employees aren't as familiar with the company's history and culture as the old employees. So now that we were clear about the problems Corning Corporation had to deal with, after a short video, my teammate GB will talk about the solutions Corning Corporation used throughout its history.
Where is Corning? Some may say a town in upstate New York. Population 10,709. And they wouldn't be wrong. But that's not the only place Corning is. Because Corning is a company that changes entire industries with its technology by partnering to create innovations that would turn the heads of sci-fi writers. When you ask where is Corning, it's here, 4,200 miles away, at the bottom of the Atlantic, part of hundreds of millions of miles of fiber optics, connecting countries, continents, and billions of people around the world. It's also here, in that super tough yet sensitive interface between you and your phone. It's here, 340 miles above the Earth's surface, in the Hubble telescope, in its optics, and here, in the glass on the International Space Station. It's here, in the screens we view every day, producing unsurpassed clarity in every size, from the colossal to the compact. It's here, in the ceramic filters that make the air we breathe cleaner. But Corning is only part of the equation, because our spirit and drive can be scaled at speed when we partner with customers who want problems solved, turning hypotheticals into innovations. Here, and here. Oh, and here. And here. And here. Corning. We put ourselves into everything.
Hey guys, I hope you guys enjoyed that video, short video of Corning. I hope they release your stress a bit. Now let's get on to solution analysis and finish the PPT, okay? Let's go. So now I'll be talking about what kind of solution that Corning implemented to solve problems. The first part that I will mention is Corning's innovation pipeline. It was a specific mechanism of turning new ideas into major opportunities. Otherwise, a company like Corning that focuses on research and development would have to deal with gigantic amount of information that is almost impossible to be organized. The way that the innovation pipeline operated was that once it was considered to have enough information in this corporate innovation portfolio in this left picture center, the meeting in the Corporate Technology Council, CTC, was held. You guys can consider CTC as the gatekeeper of the innovation pipeline. Its function was to eliminate unnecessary ideas and determine feasibility. After some of the ideas were confirmed certain that they may bring profits to the company, they're sent to Growth Strategy Council. As you guys can see in this that picture, there's also Growth Strategy Council. Now, Growth Strategy Council, GSC, takes care of the other 3 stages in the innovation pipeline. So after determining the feasibility of the business, GSC tests the practicability and prove profitability and also manage the life cycle of the business. And moreover, CTC and GSC attempt to prevent 2 common mistakes from happening. The first mistake that it prevented was stopping general managers to not hastily invest in all business opportunity, but save a company from wasting capital. The next mistake that it prevented was not making general managers to easily make judgment on a business, but suggested to look at the business more in the long term. The next solution or method that kept Corning to be successful was called Corning's innovation recipe. Sounds like a food, huh? It is more of a philosophy that it depicts Corning's policy about innovation and technology. Corning used a series of methodology and processes in investigating targeted technology and understanding the consumer's minds and problems. It also specifically investigated the market, product, processes, and business cases by using prepared questionnaires. Another key factor to understand the recipe was that it discussed their failures in business and tried to apply them elsewhere. So trying to learn from a lesson, huh? Moreover, it kept a belief of patient money, which included investing in a business area that does not produce profits for a long time. So continue to invest although it doesn't bring profits. For example, Corning sustained its investment in the optical filter business from the 1980s until it finally became profitable until late 1990s. That's a long time. This policy of having patient money continued to benefit Corning's So this policy of patient money even benefit Corning even nowadays, even contemporary period. It basically sustained its investment in the Gorilla Glass that was developed in 2018 until 2016. And Gorilla Glass finally started to become profitable in 2016, which it started to be adopted in the smartphone production. As a result, Corning's Gorilla Glass increased the revenue by 35%. While worldwide smartphone is saturated, it's nearly done, Corning's management team still thinks that there's plenty of possibility for Gorilla Glass. This kind of shows what kind of culture and policy that Corning pursue, right? Lastly, I want to mention about Growth Strategy Council, GSC, which played a significant role in turning the innovation engine of Corning ever since the Asian financial crisis. For example, GSC helped Corning to make the right decision, which it requested Corning to immediately divert its investment in other business sector to pour more into producing the diesel filter that had urgent need from Volkswagen. So Corning poured $750 more billion into diesel filter project and added another sector in the factory to make the filters. This later contributed Volkswagen to seize victory against Puget, which was producing the similar filter and benefited Corning greatly. And finally, GSC also helped Corning to react rapidly to the rapidly changing world. Jim Nagle, who led the diesel filter project, emphasized that the council members, the Growth Strategy Council members, must ensure that they need to be honest. So they really emphasize this honesty with themselves to critically analyze where the council is heading and be exposed to the balanced information from different business areas. So always have this open-minded mindset. Now, finally, in conclusion, I want to make a few sentences. Now you guys can know that Corning is a research and development company that specializes in glass industry, which has been successful for decades. Though it crashed with lots of huge problems, such as Asia's financial crisis, it survived depending on its innovative policy strategies on innovation, such as innovation pipeline, innovation recipe, and growth recipe. Make sure you guys remember that this Growth Strategy Council was in the center of innovation, a centralized body. And that made Corning to be very special and the best, and it contributed to make Corning to make the best efficient decisions. Thank you for watching, guys. That's it for our PPT. Thank you. Have a great day, guys. Thank you.